After the great success of I Am Invincible at Yarraman Park, there are several new sons of Invincible Spirit who'll stand at stud in Australia this season. One of them is Territories, heading for Godolphin's Kelvinside base in the Hunter Valley, a relation to their former star shuttlers Street Cry and Shamadal.
Territories a class above them.
Adam, Territories by Invincible Spirit. We know he's just a super sire, not just of our great young sire, I Am Invincible, but also the fabulous filly Fleeting Spirit, Moonlight Cloud, who almost beat Black Caviar, of course won 3 Group 1s, as did Yosei in Australia. So it's a fantastic sire line that just works here.
It is indeed, Caroline, and Kingman, Charm Spirit, the list goes on. He's rapidly emerged as a hugely influential stallion on the world stage.
And he was more highly rated as a racehorse than other sons of Invincible Spirit, such as I Am Invincible and Lawman, and a Group 1 winner of the time-honoured Prix Jean Prat in France. And French racing is just going from strength to strength.
It is indeed, Caroline, and you go back to his rating and you look at Sons of Invincible Spirit, and there's an influx of Sons of Invincible Spirit coming to Australia now on the back of the success of I Am Invincible. And for us, our big positive about Territories is that not one of them's rated higher than he was on the track. And that win in the Group 1 Prix Jean Prat, he really displayed a sensational turn of speed that day. He was a horse that relaxed very early in his races. He'd settle at the tail, which he did on this occasion. Coming to the straight, his regular jockey, Michael Barcelona, opted to stay inside, which at the time you thought might have been an error of judgment, but he certainly knew exactly what he had under him. And when that gap opened halfway up the running, he exploded and the race was over in a matter of strides.
Well, he was a Group 3 winner in France as well, and importantly for Australian breeders, he was a 2-year-old winner at Chantilly.
He was, Caroline. He won over 1,200 metres as a 2-year-old at Chantilly. And also as a 2-year-old, he's a very unlucky runner-up in the Group 1.
So probably the best performance of that year was when he was placed in the Group 1 Jean-Luc Lagardère. He was unlucky not to win that, but he was a very, very good performance.
He was certainly an elite 2-year-old who could have gone into his 3-year-old year as a Group 1 winner with a bit of luck.
Well, he's closely related to 2 sires who, of course, worked so well in Australia on his dam side. The late, great Street Cry, who's sire of everything from Blue Diamond winners to the Ultra champion Winks and also Melbourne Cup winner Shocking. And Shamadal, of course, also there on the dam side, who did a fabulous job in a short time in Australia.
Yeah, Street Cry and Shamadal are not just 2 of the most influential shuttle stallions Darley have brought to these shores, but 2 of the most influential shuttle stallions that have ever come to the shores. We all know the achievements of Street Cry, reigning champion Australian stallion, but Shamadal, his achievements can't be underestimated as well. From only limited opportunities here, he produced a Group 1 winning sprinter in Delectation, an Oaks winner in Faint Perfume, and a champion miler in Able Friend, so he did a sensational job out here as well.
He was an out-and-out miler. That was his trip. He was a miler. And his biggest weapon was he had an incredible acceleration off a fast run mile.
And his run in the English 2000 Guineas, that was just sensational, the way he came from the rear of the field. He had such a good turn of foot and really had a sustained run as well, but the winner just had the break on him.
He did, and the winner was a very good horse in Glen Eagles, who at his next 2 starts was a Group 1 victor again, so he was a triple Group 1 winner. And Territories did. He settled back in the field. He made a long sustained run and just failed to reel him in what was, a clash of Europe's best 3-year-old milers of that generation.
His best physical attributes are he is a straight, good-looking horse. He's a straight moving horse. He's got great limbs on him. He was a sound horse. And a good head on him. He's a very easy horse to breed to, and I think it's fair to say he was relatively easy to train as well because he had this amazing speed.
Well, he's a gorgeous horse with that quality European head and the big bold eye, and he's a stunning type, as all the Invincible Spirits are.
He is very typical of the breed, Caroline. He's an amazing looking animal, sensational mover, lots of quality, and again, we can't wait for Australian breeders to see him in August and really see what a magnificent looking animal he is.
Well, we're talking about a horse out of the top drawer here, so it's not surprising to hear that the breeders who have used him in Europe reads like a who's who of European breeders. The Aga Khan's using him, Shabwell are using him, Godolphin are using him, Mali Al Basti's using him, and Qatar Bloodstock are using him, Crimborn Bloodstock. All of our major breeders over here have sent mares to him.
Well, the decision has been made to stand him here in the Hunter Valley, which is obviously a very competitive environment, but Godolphin obviously think very highly of him to bring him here. What do you think gives him, the best chance of perhaps following in the footsteps of a Street Cry?
It's probably a cliche that you hear from all stallion proprietors, but he certainly does tick all the boxes. He's a magnificent looking horse. He was precocious. He was a Group 1 juvenile. He was a Group 1 winner at 3. He's from the family of our reigning champion Stallion Street Cry, as we've discussed. And he's by Invincible Spirit, who's the sire of I Am Invincible, who has found his way up to 3rd or 4th, I think, on the Australian sires table this year, and is knocking on the door of becoming a champion stallion himself.
And what would you expect would be the best sort of mare that he would suit?
Well, I think we've got a bit of a precursor with I Am Invincible and what's worked with him. So I certainly think people that have had success breeding to I Am Invincible that may not be able to afford the $100,000 service fee this year, he's probably a great fit there. And also an interesting one going back to I Am Invincible is Canny Lad. I Am Invincible is obviously out of a Canny Lad mare. So that'd be a mating that we'd be very interested in people pursuing, just to get that cross that's been so successful here. But he is an outcross to Danehill, so there's no doubt on his physical and his pedigree he's going to suit a multitude of mares in Australia.
And hearing from Alistair Pulford, he's been pretty popular so far?
Yeah, Caroline, the reaction from mare owners has been very strong, and we're delighted with how his book's filling up, and the quality of what has been added to his book is great.
I don't need to tell the Australian breeders about the success of Invincible Spirit as a sire of sires. And when you put in the bottom line, this horse is from the same family, the immediate family of Street Cry and Shamadal, the chances of Territories becoming a sire of the future are a great deal higher than most.